For our modern times in which we live in today, it is actually so difficult to find legitimately evil people in society. Outside of the obvious ones like dictators and warlords, because it's hard. It's hard getting away with something illegal without anyone noticing. Because there is so much surveillance, phones, computers, alarm systems, CCTV footage, and also don't forget the fact that there are currently 8 billion people alive on this planet. Like, you can't even take a piss outside anymore without anyone taking a picture of you. So obviously, fact of the matter is, criminals got fewer and fewer with time, because the risk-reward ratio just doesn't make it worth it. But like a lot of things in this world, the law is one of many things that are moldable and flexible, especially if you're on the good side of things. And that's what Sam Altman did, because this guy is a scumbag. I truly believe that. But firstly, who Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI, a non-profit lab focused on artificial intelligence, which was started on December 10, 2015. But they will only launch their first ever product in 2022, ChatGPT, which, for those of you who don't know, is an AI chatbot that has been trained since birth to respond in the most useful way possible to whatever doubt a person might have. So yeah, I gotta give props when they're due. Altman is a genius. Like, this idea was amazing, considering that we live in a landscape where right now almost everybody uses ChatGPT on a daily basis, or at least knows what it is. But that doesn't excuse him from being a horrible human being, because like I said, the bag of evilness this guy has on his back goes way deep. Like, for example, did you know Sam Altman is a great investor in AI? So much so that he thinks the general population should also invest in it. Not because it's gonna make their lives better in any way, no. Because by doing so, he's gonna have so much money that he's gonna reinvest it in AI research and create AI models of every shape and form, all with the same objective: replace human labor. Because even though the average worker should be able to enjoy his well-earned career path and money, Altman doesn't say so. He believes nothing should get in the way of progress, not even nature itself. In fact, he believes that water is one of the many resources that can be disposed of.
We see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for.
And I mean, who can blame him? Who wouldn't want to use 1,300 million liters of water per year to cool down AI data centers rather than, I don't know, save children in Africa that are dying of thirst? That is so lame. Oh, but how dumb I am. How could I have forgotten that this is not real? Because if you hear Sam Altman talk in this interview, he's gonna debunk every fake news regarding the use of water.
It's totally fake. It used to be true. We used to do evaporative cooling in data centers, but now that we don't do that, you see these like things on the internet where don't use ChatGPT, it's 17 gallons of water for each query or whatever.
I mean, you heard it from him. If Sam Altman says it, you gotta trust him. Because even though there are news articles, reports, and even graphs written about it, they are all completely fake. They all don't know what they're talking about. Because if they had listened to the interview of Sam Altman, they would all be proven wrong in a matter of seconds. I mean, how could you not trust a guy that is raising his child using ChatGPT? How could you not trust him? The same guy who was giggling and blushing when he saw the futuristic and mind-blowing design of these AI data centers. Like, they are so beautiful that they should be present all over the Amazon forest. But no, in all seriousness, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think you can tell that the tone of the video is shifting, because the next things I'm going to talk about are simply too serious to be making a joke out of it. Anne Altman, or more commonly known as Annie Altman, is the younger sister of Sam Altman, and their story is tragic because not too long ago, or approximately 2 months ago, she filed a civil lawsuit against her brother for sexual and rape. The alleged abuse happened in their family house during their childhood, And the timestamp is scary because Sam supposedly abused her in 1997 when she was only 3 years old, and these types of abuses continued long after, up until 2006. However, I gotta be fair with Sam, since the case is not over yet. There is a pretty moderate chance Sam could get found not guilty, because even the mother herself said that she believes all of this is false because Annie had some past mental health problems. But I gotta say, that's strange. Like, if I were a parent and one of my kids came out of the closet with such a statement, even if it was completely false, I would still look into it. And that's strange, considering that the mom's first reaction was to deny all the accusations. Like, come on, you're not even gonna take a look into it? That seems so fucked up. Also, because the mental state that is attributed to Annie in this case aligns perfectly with the past victims of abuse. Like, for example, paranoia is a direct symptom of heavy PTSD, and PTSD is typically correlated in a lot of cases to sexual. So honestly, the crazy patient narrative doesn't really hold a candle. And like, I can sit there all day long and talk about Annie's mental state, but Sam is the definition of a walking red flag when it comes to things like this. For example, even the co-founder of Reddit, Aaron Schwartz, before suiciding himself, went off record and said, "You need to understand that Sam can never be trusted. He's a sociopath, he will do anything." And that's not his enemy, that's his former business partner. And also, let's not forget the fact that Sam Altman is the same guy that is pushing for a new update on ChatGPT for those above 18 that will allow the chatbot to have sexual interaction with the user and will go as far as allowing every single request by the user. Like, that's a second strike, because what the fuck do you mean that the guy accused of SA is also the same guy that is trying to create a sex AI that is gonna allow every single request? Like, if that is not a strange power dynamic, I don't know what is it. But still, like I said before, the trial is still going, so there is not a definitive answer. But I'd be lying if I said that this didn't raise my suspicions quite a bit. But if that wasn't enough to raise your eyebrow, this next one is even crazier. Zuhair Balaji is an Indian tech researcher that has worked inside OpenAI for a lot of time, 10 years more or less, and unfortunately he was found dead in his apartment on November 24 of 2026. Or at least that's what the first autopsy said, because saying that this case is strange would be an understatement. But firstly, let me give you some context. Zuhair left OpenAI in August and yet become a whistleblower against his own company, because he thought that the people should know that OpenAI was openly violating the US copyright law. When they did their training for the GPT model, researchers did not care what they fed to ChatGPT to make it learn faster. Like, for example, books, movies, comics, almost everything that has their own IP should not have been used when training GPT, because that's a violation of the IPs. In a sense, it is similar to pirating, and that would have meant an infinite amount of money given back to every single owner of all the IPs, and also a permanent shutdown by the government. And that's a travesty for the people working on ChatGPT, because do you have any idea of how much time does it take to teach AI, especially at the beginning? The time that it took to develop GTA 6 would be an understatement. So unfortunately for Zuhair, he was already dead when he made that interview with a Canadian reporter. But now let's move on to the actual suicide, because it doesn't add up. Firstly, because Zuhair was in a rightful state mentally. Like the mother said, he was happy. The day before of the event, he had come home from vacation in LA with his college friends. He had aspirations and dreams. Again, the mother said that he had great plans up ahead, that he wanted to start a non-profit organization with a new AI model from scratch. Like, it never happens with suicidal victims. For the most part, when somebody takes his own life, he is never in a good state mentally. He is isolated. He doesn't have dreams or aspirations up ahead. And also, the act of self-killing doesn't make sense, because by the reconstruction of the event, Zuhair's blood was spread all across the apartment. For example, in the bathroom, where it also had been found a chunk of a wig that is not his. Why would there be a chunk of a wig that is not even his? Did someone else enter the apartment? Like, it is utterly illogical to think that there was somebody else in the apartment and they didn't call for any help. And even the shot is absurd. Like, the bullet was shot in a manner that makes it impossible to die in an instant. Firstly, because the angle didn't hit the brain, which doesn't make sense to begin with, but also because who in their right mind would shoot themselves with a gun pointed at their own forehead facing slightly downwards? If you had to make it cleaner, face the temple or just open your mouth and face it upstairs. Like I said, it doesn't make any sense, and there is so much more material correlated to this case that I won't bring up because I wouldn't give it justice. So do yourself a favor and check it out on YouTube for yourself. It's an interview done by Tucker Carlson over a year ago. So yeah, all this was just to say that Sam Altman is, in my opinion, a bad person. I believe everything he touches becomes cursed in some weird way. And it surely has to do with his character, because honestly, I wouldn't want to spend a minute with somebody that looks like that. Like, it gives off an attitude that he would kill off the entire human species only because he's cool with the 1% of the general population. So yeah, if I had to leave you with something, it would be to never trust this guy's projects, and more in general this guy in his entirety. So yeah, that's wraps. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and do all the YouTube stuff. And until the next one, peace out.